morning I'm taking a little adventure to the other side of the property to take a look around, see what I can see. And I was gonna do a collaboration with Liz Zorab from Byther Farms, and this collaboration is about who inspires me. So I have chosen 5 people for no particular strong reason. The first 5 people that came to mind, and for different reasons, very different reasons, and in no particular order at all. The first person I wanted to talk about is my Grandpa Dutra, my father's dad. He's no longer with us, but he was always the kindest, most generous, loving grandfather you could ever imagine. And he inspired me to love nature and to love walking in the woods and finding new plants. So he loved wildflowers, and he loved teaching me about wildflowers. I have this vaguest memory of being really little, and like little enough that I was reaching up to hold his hand and walking through the woods behind his home, and him showing me lady slipper orchids for the very first time. And I just was taken with them. They have been my favorite wildflower for the entire time in my entire life. Nothing has ever taken the place of the pink lady slipper orchid, and I love them, and they just seem so magical to me. And I always think that there's just like little fairy is gonna come along and put it on as a slipper. And I don't know if that was something he said to me when I was little, or if it's just what I think of when I think of him showing me them. And then there was something else that he showed me, and that's why I've stopped. This is another plant that he taught me when I was really young. This is, most of the people in the South have called it winterberry or pipsoa. Growing up in New England, I was always told it was tea berry, and it's the same plant, I'm pretty sure. And it develops a tiny little white flower and a little red berry, and the berry tastes like wintergreen. It's quite yummy. It's a little gritty-ish in texture, but it's good. What my grandfather also taught me was gardening for food. He grew the best green beans. He grew so many green beans. We would eat green beans all summer long. And he grew so many strawberries. We would eat strawberries all summer long. And he would make such delicious meals with those things. And I remember his strawberry rhubarb pie being the best. And I don't know if it was him that made it or my meme. My meme died when I was younger, and he lived much longer into my childhood, so it could be that my meme was the one that made it, but regardless, I loved it. And then creamed green beans, I'm pretty sure those were his recipe, and they were delicious, and I loved it. I love them so much. My sister still makes them. I need to get the recipe from her. But I always kind of considered my grandpa a farmer, and when he passed away, he had very little to hand down, and he had 15 grandchildren, but he still did. And the little bit of inheritance that he passed along to me, I used for my first semester of college. Well, not my first semester of college in all, but my first semester at the university that had greenhouse management and operations as a class. It was a horticulture university, and I was so happy to go to that class in his honor. And I learned so much that year, so much. The next 2 people that inspire me are pretty obvious, probably the biggest inspiration for most people anyway. It's my mother and my father. My parents are incredibly amazing people all around. And they have inspired me to do so much with my life. My mother is very strong. She has overcome so many obstacles. She had to raise 5 children on her own after my dad left. And even when my dad was there, I'll get to that when I talk about my dad. And she took care of us and provided for us and did so much for us and always taught us to do the right thing and to work hard and to eat whole food and to garden, take care of livestock, the whole 9 yards. I grew up with sustainable farming. That was what my mother was able to teach me, and she's continued to teach me. My mother has been the permaculture guru since before the word permaculture even existed. And a lot of what I've learned about permaculture has kind of made me laugh sometimes, especially when I'm taking a permaculture class and I see them suggesting stuff, and it's all stuff my mom taught me, showed me, and did all throughout growing up. So it was not new to me. I just never knew that it had a name. It just, to me, that was how you did it. It was common sense. It's how you manage your land and your property, is by going with the flow of the nature of your property. If you have a wet area, you plant plants that like wet stuff. You know, if you have a dry area, you plant the plants that prefer it more dry, and so on and so forth. Into much greater detail than just that, but she is amazing, and she is a wealth of knowledge and information. She knows so many plants that are edible and medicinal, that are wild or cultivated. She's just amazing. So she's been a huge inspiration to me, especially here lately in this past year. A little over a year ago, just before Christmas, my mother had a stroke, and things have not been the same for her. Her life has changed dramatically. She's no longer able to drive. It is much harder for her to get out and work in the garden and play with her chickens. So although things have changed dramatically for her, one thing hasn't changed: her positive attitude and her determination to do better. No matter what she's able to do, she just keeps doing better. And she's improved a lot, and she's continuing to improve. And I just wish that I lived in her backyard and I could be with her every day and help her. But alas, she's in Massachusetts and I'm in Georgia, and it makes very difficult because it's really hard to get away from the farm for a visit. So I haven't been able to visit her yet, and that's been heart-wrenching. But I'm hoping to alleviate that next month. So that brings me to my dad. My dad is a huge inspiration to me. My dad is an inspiration to me because of his strength as well. He's a very strong man. In my childhood, in my youth, when I was really young, he fought the biggest battle of his life. He fought alcoholism. And he was an alcoholic as I grew up. And it was very hard on my family, and it was very hard on my mom. And I think it was probably very hard on him. But he overcame it. And he fought it. And he has continued to fight it. And stayed sober for, oh gosh, I think it's almost, no, it can't be 30 years now. No, 25, I think. It's getting up there. It's at least 20 years that he's been sober. He's been sober so long I can't even count how long. So for that I am grateful. And he has been a wonderful inspiration in his sobriety. But after fighting that battle and struggling to overcome that and doing a really good job of it and growing a hydrangea business to the maximum, where he was one of the biggest distributors of hydrangeas on the East Coast. He has a huge collection, a variety of rare hydrangeas, etc., and a huge inspiration to me botanically. He always pushed me to the botanical side of my interest, and he always challenged me with questions that he thought he could stump me on, and he made me learn more. Always pushed me to learn more, and I really appreciate that. But then Lyme disease kind of got in the way. He's still growing hydrangeas. He's just not at the level he used to be, but he has chronic Lyme disease. By the time he found out that he had Lyme disease, it was too late to treat. They tried, but the antibiotics just couldn't work. And he's now left with a lot of chronic pain and other symptoms that really make it hard to keep going. But he keeps going, and he works hard, and he works hard. I mean, in the winter, he's a scalloper. Scallopers have very strenuous work conditions. They go out in the freezing cold on the ocean, and they face some extreme conditions, and he does that every winter still, even being the old man he is. And I'm very proud of him, and he inspires me. The other two people I want to talk about that inspire me are my YouTube inspirations. And who inspires me with my YouTube channel and keeps me going, makes me want to do better. First, I'll let you guess. Come on, guess. You probably already know. My first big inspiration for YouTube was Justin Rhodes. I never would have started YouTubing if I hadn't watched him. And you know, his story about having the Lyme disease was a big part of it. I saw a mini documentary on Facebook before I ever watched his channel, and that was what got me hooked and made me go look for his channel. And it was talking all about his Lyme disease and how he struggled through that and how he has been overcoming it as much as he can through all this time. But also their financial struggles while he was first diagnosed with Lyme disease. They suffered with poverty level income, and that's something I could really relate to. Ryan and I have spent a good part of our adult life under poverty level. It's not fun, but it teaches you a lot, and it makes you stronger. And I think in some ways it makes you a better person, because you know how hard it is to go through that and to face that challenge every day of how the next bill is going to be paid and how the next meal is going to be bought. And I think it's made me stronger, and I think that his story and the fact that he shared his story with us is what inspired me to begin my YouTube channel. And I'm so glad I did, because I've met some of the most amazing people in my life through YouTube, believe it or not. And I'm grateful for that. And I don't know. I never even watched YouTube before Justin Rhodes' channel. And I don't know that I ever would have. I mean, I would watch YouTube videos when I would Google how to do something. And be like, oh, I'll just look for a YouTube video for how to do something, you know? But I don't think I ever would have taken on the task of becoming a vlogger. And when he came here to visit for the Great American Farm Tour almost a year ago, he made me want to become a daily vlogger, which has been the biggest contribution to my rising numbers of subscribers. It has been the best thing I could have done for my channel, is to begin my daily videos. Now, I do miss some. I'm not always daily. I'm human. I have my bad days that I just don't want to vlog. Sometimes I have my bad weeks that I just don't want to vlog. But all in all, when I'm good at doing the daily videos, I see really good growth in my channel. And that makes me happy. It makes me happy because I'm meeting more of you and I'm teaching more of you and I'm interacting with more of you. And I love teaching people. I love that. Always have. I've always done workshops and such to help people. And it's fun to me. A lot of fun. It's also good because it's helping me document my journey with this homesteading craziness. And it's also, hopefully, at some point, gonna create a source of income. I'm not gonna lie and say I don't want to see a check come in from YouTube. Right now it's rare here and there. I barely make their requirements. So I just keep doing better. And I can thank Justin for that, because he inspired me to do better. And last but not least, there's a special friend I met through YouTube. At first, it was just encouragement and kind words and well-placed advice in the comments or in live chats on other channels. And the relationship grew from there. And then one day he had his own channel. And I was so thrilled that he had started his own channel. To go from a viewer that had been a great inspiration to all of us, big YouTubers too, to starting his own channel. And then, okay, do you know who it is? I'll tell you before I go on with the story. It is our good friend Jeff. Previously, Peoria did. He's now Bobblehead Homestead. I want you to go check out his channel. I want you to go subscribe to his channel. I want you to watch some of his videos. So this man is an inspiration to anyone. He has overcome so many obstacles that I don't think I could. I don't know how he does it. He's amazing. He ended up getting his own little homestead, and he is fixing it up from a trailer that was so messed up from the beginning when he moved in, and it's becoming a home, and he's working so hard at it. And all this time he's fighting against his own disabilities and working harder, and his channel has grown. His video quality has improved. He has done amazing amazing with what he has. And it's not much. He works with such a small amount of what he has, but he works with it so well. He has so much passion and determination. I'm almost tearing up here. Because he is that inspiring. But he always keeps moving. He keeps doing better. And that inspires me. I can't tell you how many times I've thought, why am I doing this? What's the point? I've had some hard times this past year. And there's been times where I felt like might as well just quit. And whenever I start to think like that, I think, what would Jeff do? Jeff wouldn't quit. Not for a chance. Determination is his middle name, I think. And I'm thrilled to call him friend and to have his inspiration in my life. Thank you, Jeff. Everybody go subscribe to Bobblehead Homestead, please. So while I could probably keep going and going and going about people who have inspired me in my life, because there's lots of you, many of my friends who are battling illnesses with their children or overcome mentally so many obstacles, and other family members who've become amazing despite what obstacles they faced. This video could go on for days with the number of people who've inspired me, but we're leaving it right there at that for today. Maybe we could do this again in a year. But I want to thank Liz Zorab at Byther Farm for inviting me to do this collaboration with her. And I hope that more of you are interested in doing this collaboration as well. If you are, make a video, write a blog post, make a Facebook post if you don't have either, and talk about who inspires you and why. Then if you have a YouTube channel and you want to share that video with us, we will add it to our playlist. Liz and I will both have a playlist created just for this. So please share, let us know, and thank you for watching. You know the drill. We'll see you next time on Wholesome Roots.